Good evening. So we'll start VMware networking today. I'm seeing some less crowd, but yeah, it's okay. Tomorrow it's Sunday, right? Let them go through the videos. I think I did not share yesterday's video, right? I will share that video. So it's already late, right? So we will get into the topic, VMware networking. And Monday, we will see how to install VMware player and how to install operating systems. Okay. So just concentrate. Okay. This will confuse you a little. Okay. But don't worry. So once you understand, this is very, very, very easy and very important also. Right. So VMware networking. So when I say VMware networking, so there is a term called networking. We already discussed. So we did many classes, right? So we know IP address, IPv4, IPv6, subnet mask, and how to take the IPs, what is private IP, public IP, what is a NIC card, what is a Ethernet switch, what is uplink. Okay, like that, we discussed many things actually. Okay, so here, right, if I take one Windows server, for example, I have a physical server. Okay, this is my physical server, and I have a NIC card. Usually, I told you, right, usually most of the servers get 4 NIC cards and 2 NIC cards. Okay, assume the servers has 4 port NIC card. I mean, when I say 4 NIC card means 4 port NIC card. Okay, and if you want, we can extend, we can add network cards in the server PCI slots. Okay, but leave all these things. Assume we have a physical server. It has 1 NIC card and each NIC card has 4 ports. Suppose if I install Windows in this server, suppose if I have a Windows in this machine, so usually what we do, so we take 3 servers. Okay, we have 3 servers, right? So this is my Ethernet switch. Okay, this is my Ethernet switch. Okay, Ethernet switch, and I have multiple ports in this 24 port, 32 port, 48, 96, like that we get multiple ports. Okay, so this is my server 1. Okay, so this is my server 2. I have 3 servers. Okay, so my server 3, for example. Okay, excuse me if you see something bad diagram. Okay, now, so this has, so we'll decide one IP, like we already giving, right, 172.17.100.x and 255.255.255.0. Okay, so this is my network range. So from this, see, we can give IPs like 172.17.100.1. So same 100.2, same 100.3, like that we can give 100.255. So that means I can give 172.17.100.12, actually 254, right? 172.17.100.254. In this range, I can give IPs in this network. Okay. Now we know what is Windows, how it works, how to connect, how to configure IP. We know everything. Same way we know if it is a Linux, how to do it. And ESXi, we are going to see now. Okay. So leave about ILO and all. For now, just think we have a physical server and we are connecting to networking NIC card. Okay. So see, I connected one port. The port 1 I connected to Windows server. Port 2 I connected to Linux server. Port 3 I connected to ESXi server. Okay, I have 3 servers. So this is my Linux. So this is my ESXi. Okay, I have 3 servers. and I connected all 3 ports. Okay, I connected 3 ports from the Ethernet switch. This one. Okay, we'll see one by one. Suppose if I go to Windows Server, so what I'll do? First, I'll install the operating system. And then I go to networking configuration. So then I go to networking configuration. You will see the port, okay, the connected port, localhost 0, something like that, the connected port, and it will say connected. So there you go, and you configure the first IP 172.168.100.1, 255, 255, 255.0. So this IP I given for Windows. So coming to Linux, okay. So mostly we will get, first we'll install the OS and we will get ETH0, or there is, depending on different OS, right? If it is a RHEL, you will see ENS3. Suppose if it is a SLES, you will see ETH, okay, 0, 1, 2, 3. So like that, you will see different names for NIC ports, but concept-wise, everything is same. So suppose ETH0, so then I configure IP like this, 172.17.100.2. Okay, this is also good. Then coming to ESXi, so we know, like once the OS is installed, what we do, we click on F2. So just I asked you to note down this when I install OS and configure the IP, right? So I click on F2 and I go to, anybody remember? Management network. No. Okay. Management network configuration. And then we went there and you see these 4 ports, right? So in the ESXi, so here we see localhost 0. So this is 0, localhost 0, localhost 1, localhost 2, localhost 3. Like that, you see the naming convention for NIC card. In Linux, this is ETH0, ETH1, ETH2, ETH3. Like that, we will see in the Linux server. In the ESXi, we see VMNIC 0, VMNIC 1, VMNIC 2, VMNIC 3. Like that, we get it. So where it is connected, VMNIC 0, it is connected. So then what I'll do, I'll configure IP for VMNIC 0. Okay. So here I configure IP 172.17.100.3. So far we already seen, okay, how to configure IP in the ESXi server, how to go to that F2, and then from there how to, okay, log into this VMNIC 0. Okay, we configured, we went there and we configured IP, everything, and we did reboot. So many things we tried. So once this is configured, okay, once this IP is configured, what I'm doing, I will launch this in https://172.17.100.3, enter. It will log into the vSphere web client of this ESXi server. It logins to the vSphere web client. Agree? Or you can directly add to the, if you have existing vCenter server, you can add to vCenter, and there also you can work on that. So anything is okay. I mean, what I'm trying to tell you, so we can do both here. Okay, one is we can add to, I mean, we can directly launch the vSphere web client, or we can add to vCenter server and we can use it. So any of the two we can do it. So until here is fine. So then what you are doing, once this is done, you are creating VMs, whatever, in either in vCenter or web client, whatever. Okay, in ESXi, what we are doing, we are creating VMs. For example, I am creating 4 VMs. Okay, VM1, suppose Windows 2019, and VM2, okay, Windows 2022, and VM3, RHEL 9.1, rel 9.1 and VM4, for example, CLAS15 SP4. Okay, suppose I installed 4 VMs. Okay, until here, what we have the ESXi server. We have the ESXi server, ESXi IP. So I am telling you, these 4 are the different servers. We can use it like a normal server. So that means all 4 servers should have an IP address, right? So how these VMs are getting IP? Okay, question number 1. So I am creating 4 VMs. This is 1 VM, 2 VMs, and 3 VMs, and 4 VMs. So here questions are, the first question, how VMs are getting IP? Okay, they are virtual, right? Physically nothing is there. They don't have a NIC card. They don't have anything, right? How these VMs are getting IPs? This is question number 1. Second question, okay, how VMs are communicating to other devices in the network. Other devices in the network. Okay, so we'll draw this. You understand the questions, right? Now I am giving IPs like for this 4 missions. Okay, I'll go and where is this? Okay, for these 4 missions, right, I give IPs like this. Already 100.3 is done. So what I'll do, right, I'll take separate series 172.17, 100.101, 100.102, 100.103, 100.104. And I am very much interested of these IPs, not on the ESXi IPs. I'm ESXi IP. Yes, I need ESXi IP just to configure VMs and just to add that ESXi to vCenter. Really, is it really very much important to me? If you ask me, I say no, it's not important. But once the VMs are created, whatever IPs we are giving to VMs. So in this case, right, the server directly Windows server we use for business purpose. In this case, direct Linux server we use for business purpose. But here we don't use ESXi, we use these VMs for business purpose. But this ESXi is just a hypervisor OS where you can create multiple virtual machines. This is just to reduce some cost for the customer, and at the same time we have benefits like snapshot, cloning, template, like this different benefits are there. So with this we are able to utilize our physical server very effectively. Okay, this is the major advantage of the ESXi server. Okay, but that's what I'm telling. So here the VMs are important. So this VM is like equal to this. This VM is like equal to this. So here in these 2 cases, physical servers are very important, but here in this case, virtual machine is important. Okay, if you see all the topics, right, whatever we discussed so far, so everything, once I installed ESXi, I'm not at all doing anything. Okay, so first topic, how to create VMs. Second topic, what and all VMware files are creating, VM files are creating, and how to power off, power on, suspend VMware tool installations. All these things we are doing on the virtual machines. And then snapshot. So we are taking on VMs. Cloning, we are doing cloning on VMs. Template, we are taking templates on VMs. And HADRS, here kind of we are saving virtual machines. And the data store and all we are using like to add more storage to the virtual machines, right? Fault tolerance, this is between the VMs. So if you see all the topics which are actually we are trying to like concentrate more on the virtual machines only, not on ESXi. Nowhere we are interested on ESXi. We are interested only on VMs. Same way here we have to give IPs to the VMs. Okay, we can give these IPs. The IPs are this. Now coming to the questions. Okay, so let me draw a little big picture. Okay, so just see this carefully. This is my For example, this is my ESXi server. Okay. So I have a NIC card. I have a 4-port NIC card, port 1, port 2, port 3. I told you this is these 4 ports. You see, I'll show you this VMNIC 0, VMNIC 1, VMNIC 2, VMNIC 3. Okay, but as per my thing, right, this is connected only VMNIC 0 for now. So first understand, then we'll see how to connect multiple ports. You know what will happen. So in the ESXi, right, whenever you connect, this is VMNIC 0, right? From VMNIC 0, by default, one vSwitch will create. One vSwitch, virtual switch. So you see it as a vSwitch 0. So this is virtual switch. This is vSwitch 0. The vSwitch create from this NIC port. So physically, it's a single NIC port. This NIC port in the ESXi server, it create one ESXi server. Sorry, virtual switch in the ESXi server. So very careful, okay? This NIC create virtual switch. Really, you need to go and create vSwitch 0. Definitely, we no need to create. Whenever you install ESXi 0, it will take the OS. I mean, sorry. Once the OS is installed, right, it will take the VMNIC 0 and it create vSwitch 0. Okay, this is vSwitch 0. So that means from this port, like I have a switch here, right? I have a Ethernet switch here. So I connected from port 3. In this case, I connected from port 3, right? Port 1 is going to Windows, port 2 is going to Linux. This is port 3. So now this created vSwitch 0, and all our VMs, they will create. Again, it has some ports actually. Okay. So how many ports it can have? It can have many ports. Okay. So like just for now, many ports. Now I'm creating VM1 that create on port 1. So second VM create on port 2. Third VM create on port 3. Fourth VM create on port 4. 4 ports, right? Now I have 4 VMs, 4 ports are connected. So if you see, in this case, physically until here, everything is exist. From here, everything is virtual. I mean, you cannot see anything. This is just in the ESXi server, you can go and see. That's it. So this is and all configured by ESXi server. Okay. This is and all configured by ESXi server. So now from where it is connected, this switch is 172.17.100.x, right? And 255.255.255.0. And you given to this port, right? VMNIC 0, you given 172.17.100.3. You given this, right? So this 100.3, it created one switch. So this is also, this vSwitch also, the network is same. This is the network. That is 172.17.100.x 255.255.255.0. So this is there is a switch now in the inside ESXi server. It created a small vSwitch, and now whatever VMs you create, the VMs, okay, the VMs will connect to this virtual switch. Okay. Now, anyway, we have a single port, right? We get single port when you install the VM. So to that single port, you go and configure IP like 172.17.100.101, 100.102, 100.103, and 100.104. This is how the actual network is getting created. But really, we do everything manual, nothing. We don't do anything here. We just install the ESXi once and we configure IP for ESXi. So once you configure IP, so by default, you go and see this virtual switch there. So once this virtual switch is created, so once you create VMs on top of that, automatic, these VMs will connect to this virtual switch. So this communication is established. So you no need to do anything. Just you have to understand this. This is what happened. Okay, you no need to do anything here. Okay, by default, one NIC port will come for VM. So everything is same. Everything is same. Any questions so far? Anything confusing you? Anything you want me to repeat? Okay, so if you see this right, we have everything ready. So VMs are ready, and we can like the VMs are actually communicating. VMs are actually communicating. So we go and see this first. Okay, where is this configuration and all? We'll see. So we'll do one thing. We will launch the vSphere client for better understanding. I launch one ESXi server, anything, and we will see everything there. Okay, so let me open our server. Okay, whatever I said, I'll discuss. I'll show you here. Okay, so just open. Okay, so really not required to me. So I'll take server separately. This 100.2. I don't know. I'll see VMs where the VMs are more. Then you will have only one VM is there. So here I have. Sorry. Here I have two VMs, but one is dummy. One VM. Here I have two VMs, but vCenter server is there. I don't want to disturb this. Okay, anyway, I'll take this 100.4. Okay, two VMs are there. So I'll open this in a separate window. https://172.17.100.4. Enter. Okay, vSphere web client. I'll show you in vCenter server also. First you understand here. Okay, single server I'm opening. So if you do it here, by default, it will get reflect everywhere. Okay, you don't feel like if I do in vSphere web client, will it get effect in vSphere? Okay, vCenter server. Okay, it's not like that. Okay, now you see, I'll go to host. Okay, so here we have multiple options. We know what is host, we know what is virtual machine. We are kind of know what is storage, right? 1 second, guys, I'll take this call. Okay, now we go to networking part. Okay, so just see whatever I discussed there, everything I can show you here. Okay, click on networking. So port groups, I'll come here, just wait for some time. So I'll click on virtual switches. Okay, virtual switch. So we have one virtual switch, which is Vswitch.0. So I have shown you there Vswitch.0. Okay, that is created by default. We did not create it, right? Did we create? No, we did not. Okay, before that, we will see physical NICs. So I told you this has a single NIC card, 4 ports. You can see VMNIC 0, VMNIC 1, VMNIC 2, and VMNIC 3. It has 4 ports, and these are the names what I explained. So VMNIC 0, VMNIC 1, VMNIC 2, VMNIC 3, right? So 4 NICs are there. These are physical NICs. Okay. So VM kernel NICs, I'll come back here. Okay. So let's see. So this and all you leave it. First, you understand physical NICs. So there are 4 physical ports, NIC ports. So if you see here, this is my first port, and this is the MAC address of this first port, and the link speed, it is connected, and it is 1 Gbps, 1 GB speed. And VMNIC 1, this has MAC address, and this is also connected. Sorry, this is also connected. It is showing 100 Mbps, which is less in size, less in speed. And other 2 are not connected. Link down, link down. Okay. Port 1 is connected, port 2 is connected. You all know that the port 1 is connected to 172 series and port 2 is connected to 192 series. We know our networking also. Okay. So for some time, you leave this second network. So first we will work on the first port, first NIC port. Okay. See here, I have a VMNIC 0, which is connected. I told you this VMNIC 0 by default, we configure, when we configure the IP in the ESXi in F2, by default, this VMNIC 0 create a vSwitch. Okay. If you want, you can click on this. So you can see more information here. So see this diagram. So this is the vSwitch, what is created. Okay. So just think this is the vSwitch. So this vSwitch is created from VNIC 0. So same diagram, maybe. Okay. This is the VMNIC. From here, the vSwitch is created. From there, the NICs are connected. Okay. See now. So here, this is our physical adapter. It is saying physical adapter, our VMNIC 0. From there, the vSwitch 0 is created. This is vSwitch. And if you see, there are two virtual machines, and both the virtual machines are connected to two different ports. Okay. If you create more VMs, the number of ports will be more. It will increase the ports. Okay. Now there are two VMs. The VM1 is connected to port 1. VM2 is connected to port 2. You can make out here. One is very much green. One is some white. Looks like offline. So yesterday we created one dummy VM, right? So there is no OS. This VM is not up. That's why it is showing. But the VM is created. It is showing both the ports. Suppose if I have some 50 VMs here, so it will have 50 ports here. 50 VMs means 50 ports are there. Clear? So here the network is VM network, virtual machine network. So you understand this is the first port. From first port, the vSwitch 0 is created. So all VMs are connected to vSwitch 0. Okay, same thing. So this is my first port. From first port, vSwitch 0 is created. All VMs are connected to vSwitch 0. Any question? Clear? If anything, you have clear it. So I'll go a little more in depth. Okay. If you understand here well, so you will understand everything well. Okay. Stop me if you see anything. Okay. If I go anything fast. So you are seeing there is one more box, right? There is one more network. So this is VM network, well and good. So there is one more, which is management network. So guys, I'm telling you, we configure IP for ESXi server. That IP actually a management network. If you remember, this is our IP 172.17.100.4. So this is the management network. So in the ESXi, we have two port groups. Actually, there are one more. So that third port group I'll talk tomorrow. So there are two port groups. One is management network and one is VM network. All VMs are connected to VM network. And so this is my physical server, right? Now, this side, this is all ESXi. So when you ping our ESXi, it will ping through management network. When you communicate our VMs, it will communicate through VM network. Okay. So in a same switch, it is segregated a little space for management network, and management network is connected separately. Okay. So let's see here. So this is my, you understand so far. Okay. What they did, the switch actually separated as two. Okay. So this is VM network. This you understand. Okay. So this is the first port, right, where we given the IP to this ESXi. So that's why. So this is also actually the ESXi also getting IP through this. So this is management network. But do you need to for all the ports? No. I'll come to this. So understand this. So the vSwitch is separated. And it has two port groups. One is VM network port group. One is management port group. So from management port group, I can access the ESXi server. From VM network port group, I can access the virtual machines. Okay. If you talk in general way, right? So there is a NIC card. So this is my, sorry, where is this tip? So this is my NIC. So this NIC port actually again inside it got segregated, and one side it is communicating to VMs, and one side it is communicating to ESXi. Like this we can see it, right? So there are two different, like if you compare with Windows and Linux, right, there is nothing direct. It's a direct OS, you give IP directly. But when it comes to ESXi, so here we have multiple things to take care. We have multiple things to take care. And when I say multiple things, so one is ESXi and other one is multiple VMs. Okay. Suppose in this case, I have only 4 VMs. Suppose if I have 50 VMs, even in that case also, it actually properly like it give IPs and it works very properly. Okay, this is my vSwitch 0. So I'm going back to server again. Understand? So I am in networking. So I am in vSwitch 0. When it comes to port groups, there are 2 port groups. One is VM network and one is management network. When you see like this, right, you should understand that, okay, this VM, this vSwitch, it is giving IP to ESXi, also IPs to VMs. So just think it is giving IPs to ESXi and IPs to VMs, both the things. So coming to virtual switch, yes, vSwitch 0, it has 2 port groups, uplink, which is going to Vmnic 0, that is uplink, and that is the standard vSwitch. So there is a concept called distributed vSwitch. I'll talk in the Monday, Tuesday I'll talk on that distributed switch. Okay. So physical NICs, if you see, there are 4 physical NICs. Yes, Vmnic 0, which we are actually using it. Any questions so far? Did you understand everything? What I am talking? Very, very, very important. Suppose if somebody asks you to work on ESXi, so this will, okay. But if you understand the topic, what I am talking today and tomorrow, right, you will understand everything about ESXi. I am telling you, it's my guarantee. Okay, concentrate more. Okay, this is single network. You understand? Yes, everything is fine. So again, we'll go back to our previous diagram. So I have one more switch here. I have one more switch. So I want to give 2 networks. Okay, this is my Ethernet switch 1. Suppose I am giving one more Ethernet to these servers. Okay. Okay, this is also Ethernet switch. Okay. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, like that ports are there. So obviously first port I am connecting to 1, second port I am connecting to 1, third port I am connecting to, okay, 1. So 0, 1, 2, 3, like that, 1. So if you observe, so I have, don't get confused, I have 2 switches, and from switch 1 I connected to all first ports, and this is a second switch. And assume the network here is 192.168.100.x and 255.255.255.0. Okay, this is the second switch. Okay, so I missed to show you one thing. I'll come back. So we'll see that network in the VM. Okay, so now you see, so this you understand, right? Now we'll go to virtual machine. So this will take, so right click. If you go to edit settings, so observe very carefully. So here we have a network adapter 1, NIC, and you are seeing, right, VM network. This is our network name. You have to, it should be there. Then only you will get the IP. If I go and close this, right, the VM will not get the IP. The VM won't get the IP. Okay. So this is how we add the, we give the network. Okay. Now we'll see. Okay. You will understand everything. Okay. Just hold on. Okay. Just hold on. Okay. In this case, so what I'll do, so here I'll go to LH1 localhost 1, and I'll configure 192.168, okay, 100.1. So here we'll go to ETH1. I'll give 192.168, 100.2. So coming to ESXi, so we have already one management network. So no need to give that network first of all. So directly we'll give it to the VMs. So unnecessarily don't waste by giving one more management IP and all. Okay, we can give that, but first you learn some easy way, then I'll talk more. So already we have one management network. I don't want to give management network to this also, because ESXi is very simple, and really I'm not interested at ESXi IPs, how to access all these things. I want to use them. That's it. Really, I'm not interested at all on that. Okay. So here, if you see what I'll do, I'll take this, this one. So we'll go back, we'll go down actually to our, to our big diagram. So you see now here. Okay. So this I'll show you big. So this is my, okay. The third port is connected here. But thing is, this is connected to Vmnic 1, but this is a management IP. Okay. This is management IP. This is management IP, and I don't want to give IP here. I'll give directly to VMs. Okay. So my plan is to give IP to VMs, like one more VM, 192.168, 100.101, 102, 103, and 104. Like this, I want to give the IPs to ESXi server. Okay. So cats are fighting here. Okay. So this is connected here. So this is my Vmnic 1. Okay. I told you only the vSwitch by default, only vSwitch 0 will create, but to vSwitch 1, it won't create. Okay. We have to go and create manually. Okay. So you have to do, just see this when you come here to me, when I ask you to do practical, you have to do it all this task. I have a bunch of tasks and I'll give some 3-4 days time. You have to do it. This is one of the tasks. Okay. Create the network, whatever I ask. Okay. See now. So here, from here, right, we have to create that. So what I'll create, I create one more network. Okay. Just like that, I'll create one more network. This I give name as Vswitch1, and I'll create one port group. VM management. Okay, VM management. Okay, so that is a VM network, right? Sorry, I'll not confuse you. Like we'll create one network, VM network 1 will create, and we will connect, we will add the network port to VMs 1, 2, 3, 4. When I add it, right, automatically they will connect here. So then I will log into every VM. And then we will configure the IP. Okay, I told you very simple, right? So we'll see practical, and then I'll come back here. Then I'll show you this diagram. Okay, so very easy, don't worry. So see now. So now I am very much fine. So this is my virtual machine. So if I go and see, so let me check, log into this, and just check how many IPs are there, how many ports are there, everything. Before still working for last 4-5 days. Okay, you just check here, go to run CMD. If I run IP config, yes, there is only one IP, 100.103 something. Okay, 103. So if I give ncpa.cpl, how many ports are there, NIC ports? There is only one, Ethernet 0. There is only one NIC port is there. So now I want Ethernet 1. one more NIC port, and it should get 192 like 168.100.103 IP. I want this. Okay. So as I shown in the diagram. So let's see now. So you understand this, right? Just close it. Directly go to networking. Directly go to networking. So first you create add port group. Add port group. But before that, we have to create virtual switch, one dummy virtual switch. So always try to create the same font, small v, capital S, Vswitch1. Okay, we can give any name actually, but better follow this. Add standard virtual switch, just click on this. Okay, so I love to give same as, because they will be in sequence order. Vswitch1, don't change this. If you go here, already Vmnic 0 switch is created. Now this switch I am creating with Vmnic 1. That's it, right? From second NIC, I told you the second switch we have to create manual and we have to select properly. Suppose if all ports are connected, it will show up and running. So then we have to properly select the one what we are creating a switch. Okay, now in this case, we know directly Vswitch1, Vmnic 1, just click add. Okay, so Vswitch 0, now Vswitch1 is there. Okay, everything is proper, uplink 1 and standard vSwitch, and port groups only 0 are there. Okay, so but here two port groups are there, one is VM network and one is management network. But here I am not going to add management network. Okay, now you see, first we'll create the port group, come here, add port group. Okay, this is also give same name like this, VM space network 1. Okay, so just because of Vswitch1, right, I'm giving name like this. So you can give any name, but coming here, change it to Vswitch1. Okay, so VM network Vswitch1 and click add. That's it. The switch is created, the port group is created. Now whenever you check VM network, this is Vswitch 0, and management network, this is Vswitch 0, and VM network for Vswitch1, and management network not required for Vswitch1, because one IP is enough to manage the ESXi server. I don't want multiple IPs to manage the ESXi server. Okay, now if you see virtual switches, there are two, everything is proper. When it comes to physical NICs, see, very simple, right? I created a vSwitch actually. Okay, now you see what I'll do. Okay, I have to add this network to virtual machines, right? So just click on virtual machine. So we'll take one, right click, edit settings, edit settings. So here you are seeing multiple options, right? Add network adapter. We have network adapter 1, and this is VM network. By seeing this, you should understand this is from Vswitch 0. So now I'm going to add one more. Now it will become network adapter 2 here. You just observe here. So this is network adapter 1. I'm going to click on this. See, new network adapter. So here you go and change it to VM network 1. So this means I'm going to add one more NIC port to the VM, and this is for second Ethernet switch. So that is Vswitch 1. Okay, VM network 1. Okay, I know you are understanding when I'm talking, but if you think of everything right, you feel like, oh, wow, where we did it, from where to where we come, like that. But you have to sit in front of the video for some time, especially for this. Okay, VM network 1, click on save, just save. Okay, configuration is done. If you go and check now, it will show you. Again, I'm going to the edit settings. If you see now, see network adapter 1, which is VM network, network adapter 2, which is VM network 1, right? VM network 1. Simple, right? I created vSwitch, I created port group, I kind of merged that port group and vSwitch, and that whatever port group I created in that vSwitch, right? With that, I added to this NIC card. So I added a NIC to this VM. Okay, just cancel. Now we'll go to the VM. Just click on the VM. Okay, you check now. Already is there. Actually, you have seen that. Already port has come. Just right click, run CMD ipconfig. See, there are two ports, Ethernet 0 and Ethernet 1. The IP we have to configure, dummy IP is there. Okay. Before that, we'll go to ncpa.cpl. You know this, right? How to configure IP in Windows. Enter. See, the second port has come. Now, you go here, double click. You know how to configure IP in Windows. Just go there, give 192.168.100.103. This is what the IP we thought to give. So this is the subnet mask. Give OK, give OK. Okay. Just close it. Close it. I'll check now. IP config. See, 172.1.1700.103, 192.168.100.103. So like that, I can give. Suppose if I have one more VM, right? So there is a VM. So go right click, edit settings. Okay. Already one NIC card is there by default. Just add this new one. So go and select VM network 1. Give save. Yes, you can give multiple IPs. So simple, right? See, when you see in the diagram, now we go back to diagram. So here in the Windows case, we are connecting directly and we are configuring directly on the virtual, NIC card, okay, NIC ports. But when it comes to VM case, right? Suppose if this is my VM, just we will see from VM angle, okay? So this is my VM. So VM here, I have to give one NIC port, and when it need two IPs, two NIC port. And this is connecting to Vswitch0. And this is connecting to Vswitch1, right? This is connecting. If you observe here, both are same now. See, this is a physical server. There are two ports. Port 1 is going to one switch, one Ethernet switch. Port 2 is going to one Ethernet switch. But here, the server is physical. The NIC card is physical. The Ethernet switches are physical. The cables are physical. Everything is physical and we are connecting them. But when it comes here in the ESXi, this is the virtual machine. This is the virtual NIC. These are the virtual switches and we are connecting them. So if you observe very close, whatever you are seeing in physical, same thing we are doing here, but everything we are doing in the software level, in the ESXi OS level. It's not physical. Okay, the switches you are creating, the connections you are giving, the NIC ports you are creating and giving. Okay, everything you are doing software. So there is no physically, there is no NIC, physically there is no Ethernet switch, nothing is there. Right? Now if you see, so this Vswitch0 is actually from this is a VMNIC 0, but this is our port 1 in the physical NIC. Port 1 in the physical NIC. So this is VMNIC 1. This is actually port 2 in the physical NIC. So port 1, where it is connected? Port 1, it is connected to 172 series network. Port 2, it is connected to 192 series network. Now I have other machines connected here, other machines connected here. So this VM can communicate to the machines where it is connected to physical switches. Physical switches. Right? Understanding? Confusing? It will not confuse you. I'm telling you, just sit for little more time on this video and sit and just to make a work. Okay, you will understand everything. Any question so far? So we created one network, Vswitch0. Okay. Suppose I have one more network. For example, I have third network. Maybe I'll take different color. So this is my third network. So this is, for example, my IP is 10.20. Okay, 30.x and 255, 255, 255.0. And I have 3 ports and the third port I'm connecting here. So very simple, same way how I did right. I create one more. So this is Vswitch2 something. Okay, Vswitch2. And from this Vswitch, we add here. Okay, we add here to the VMs. So like this, you can create n number of virtual switches, n number of virtual switches. So whatever you are seeing physically here, everything you create virtually inside ESXi server. Inside ESXi server. Okay, so we'll go there. So now we'll go to networking. Now we'll go to virtual switches. So if I click on vSwitch 0, so this you understand, this is VMNIC 0. From VMNIC 0, the vSwitch 0 is created. And here I have VM1, VM2, and management port group also. Suppose if I click on vSwitch 1, so you try to understand, there is no management network, but see, this is VMNIC 1. From VMNIC 1, the switch is created internally, and here we connected both the VMs. So because the VMs has 2 different networks, and you can see the 2 VMs in the vSwitch 0 and vSwitch 1 also. For any reason, I want some VMs on vSwitch 0 and I want some VMs on vSwitch 1. So you can, accordingly, you can connect or disconnect your virtual machines from the vSwitches. Confusing? Any question? Okay, okay, fine. I'll do one thing. I'll stop here. Okay, because it is, yeah, there is something. It's clear to Ganesh. Okay, I'll stop here. I want you to make something here. Okay, this is from vSphere web client. So same thing we can do it even here. Like we have 100.2. I think we did it in 100.4, right? Same thing. We'll go to 100.6 and we go to network. Okay, so there is there are switches and all. Okay, I'll show you that. First, you understand everything. Okay, you understand everything. So then I'll talk some more in a different way, like what is how to configure in vCenter server and what is distributed switch. I'll talk in a next class. Okay, first I want you to go through this and make a clear notes for this and understand, and then we will go to the next class. Okay, any questions to anyone? Configure virtual switches. So this is our existing vSwitch 0. Okay, you can click on add networking. Okay, you can create a standard virtual switch. Click next. Okay, new standard switch. Click next, and we can give name and all. Okay, so just in a different way, that's it. Okay, don't think. So VMNIC 0 is there. Give OK. Click next. So now you have to give name that vSwitch 1. Click next. Finish. Okay, there is one more switch is created. Okay, from VMNIC 1, I created one more vSwitch 1. This is vSwitch 0. vSwitch 1 is created, and I given, instead of VM network, right, I given vSwitch 1. Okay, or I can give same as Okay, nothing. It's okay. So the vSwitch one is created. So little different way is there to create vSwitch, but don't think for this. Okay, first you understand very well there. Okay, I'll give you some task also. Suppose if I connect all 4 ports, for example, how many vSwitches will create and how to create it. Okay, try to just make a small notes on that. Okay, so we'll see tomorrow in the next class. Okay, on Monday we'll see this, and we will create multiple virtual switches in the other switches, and we will do distribute switch also on that day. Okay, and yesterday I was telling fault tolerance, right? I have a very good video for that. Okay, so some 40 minutes video is there. Okay, so I will share this video. I want you to go through this video to see the practical. Okay, how it is created, this one. Maybe for us to do the practical, right, it will take some more time. At the time of SAN, we will do this. I will share this video. I gone through actually video. It is little lengthy, but you can spend time once, okay, and make a note from this. Okay, whenever it is created. Yesterday I said active and standby, right? Actually, the names are primary and secondary. Okay, primary is the main VM and secondary is the backup VM. So again, I used one more term. What is that? Reciprocal something I used, right? The shadow VM. They call it as a shadow VM. Okay, these 2 terms I missed yesterday. So this is about FT. I want you to go through this video. I am pinging here, and also I will send in the also I'll send in the video recording also. Okay, I just pinged here. Okay, so then please go through this video and please complete all VMware videos. I need 2 more classes for the VMware. Then we'll go to FC SAN in the next week itself. And yes, I will spend good time and I'll try to complete everything in July month. Okay, FC SAN everything. It's very important and kind of our main concept. We will do it in the next week. Okay, please close this VMware part. Okay, so I don't want you to spend more time again and again because you will get a lot of questions here. So please spend more time on the VMware ESXi and close all the videos, make a document and share me also. I will see that and maybe I'll help you if you need any more information. Also, I will share that document with you. Okay, that's all I have. Thanks everyone. Good night. See you all on Monday. Okay, please go through, please utilize the time. So for this, okay, thanks everyone. Good night. Bye.